our work right now on the planet is to bring honoring and sanctity to the invisible just as much as the visible. The invisible results are things like feeling good, things like feeling connected, things like our health, our well-being, a feeling of joy, pleasure.
Embodiment can't be faked. Once you're in an open state where you actually can see through a clear lens, you know, you're not clouded by fear, you're not clouded by the amygdala, you're not clouded by society's news and all the fear-based stuff, and you're just with you. Then you get to decide where you think we actually are.
It is possible to navigate pain with grace.
Energy is information. We're here to experience the full spectrum.
That worthiness is hard for you. There's nothing wrong with you. It is a muscle that we kind of have to learn how to access. You are not disempowered, and you have power in every area of your life all the time.
I believe that chronic illness is an opportunity for us to heal.
Health, it's a choice. Listening to your body if you so choose.
My prayer for the world would be that they would know the infinite love of God.
Aloha and welcome to the Body and Soul Wisdom Podcast, formerly known as the Embodied Healing Self Podcast, with your host, jenmons. Join me each week for soul-inspired, conscious conversations around awakening to your soul purpose through 5-element well-being. Thank you so much for joining in. Aloha and welcome back to the Body and Soul Wisdom Podcast. Happy New Year. Sending you many blessings. I didn't do a end of the year or New Year podcast episode this year. But what I am going to do is I'm going to share with you my word for 2023 and invite you to join me on a centering prayer around my word. So I'm curious if you're a word of the year person, goals or intention person. I became a word of the year intention person in 2018. My word that year was abundance. I had an article published on abundance in the Elephant Journal that year. My word for 2019 was alignment. 2020 was prosperity, which was the year that unexpectedly I went through hardship that not related to the pandemic, but in my business that allowed me to create the prosperity course. So sometimes it just, what your intention is shows up differently, but be open to receiving. And then from there moved into sovereignty. And so my word this year is resourced. And so when we did our end of the year ceremony together, one of the things that we do, that we did in our daily devotion group, in our 5-element wealth group, is we reflect each of the months. We go through our celebrations and our challenges and how we grew. And then we get clear on what we're no longer available for. And what I noticed is that this was a really big shift for me. I noticed that in the way that I have my life set up and what I've created, it's really, for me, more about getting clear on being resourced in relationships and what I energetically allow into my life and don't allow into my life. So I'm sure this probably speaks to some of you, especially if you've listened to the shows around people pleasing or being an empath, or, you know, just the need for healthy boundaries and healthy relationships. And so one of the things that I got clear on is that I'm no longer available for certain specific things in my business and personal life that feel draining for me. And it's not an avoidance. It's more of a reclamation, as the word of my year of the year last year for me was sovereignty. It's more of like an alignment, because the difference is there's no attachment, there's no judgment, there's not any energy attached to it. It's just a stepping into clarity and just being like, okay, that didn't work. I'm no longer available for that. And what that created space for was the opportunity for me to be resourced by mutually supportive, collaborative relationships, by food, by love, by the energy of money, and the creativity that comes through. So, my intention during this time is to invite you to allow yourself to be resourced with me. Whether it's your word of the year or not, just give yourself some space to receive and be resourced. Because we can be resourced in many ways. We can be resourced from Mother Nature, from our pets, from our loved ones, from our food, from our work. And the more that you choose relationships that fill you up, the more resourced you are, the more aligned you are to your soul truth, the more you have to give, the more you can shine, the more peace, ease, and flow and joy you have in your life. When something feels heavy, or you feel the need to prove or be validated in any way, or you're hustling or overwhelming, something's out of alignment. You're not resourced. If you're spinning in cycles of indecision, of procrastination, of fear, avoidance, because of betrayal, rejection, anything like that, abandonment, then that's an invitation to lean in and really ask yourself, what is this here to teach me? How can I move forward, allowing myself to be resourced and supported and nurtured along the way? That's my invitation for you. So I want to invite you, if you're at this point in time driving, then I would invite you to come back and listen to this. But for those of you that are not, maybe you're walking the beach right now or walking in the neighborhood, maybe you're driving the car, but you're able to listen, to set the intention to be very present and just allow yourself to receive this. If you're in a space where you can close your eyes, then I would invite you to do that. So we're going to start with the breath and allow ourselves to be resourced with the breath. Taking a nice deep breath in through the nose and holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Open the mouth, exhale to release. And hold. So we're going to do a 5 count box breath. Inhale for 5. And hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Open the mouth, exhale, release, contract the belly on the exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale through the nose, belly rises and expands on the inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Open the mouth, exhale to release. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale one more time. And pause. Open the mouth, exhale to release. and pause. Start to breathe in through the nose with the rhythm of your own breath, and exhale through the mouth. Start to settle into the space that you're in. Uncross your feet. Uncross your arms. And just begin noticing sensations in your environment, becoming very present to the energy around you. Allow the breath to slow down. Notice sounds and smells in your present space. And if you notice thoughts coming in, just bring your awareness back to the breath, inhaling and exhaling. May you be resourced. So for this meditation, I'm going to say it in first person as an I, so that you can really allow yourself to receive it as if the words are coming through in your mind's eye, energetically. And so at any time that you feel overwhelmed or depleted, you can come back and listen to this meditation and visualization. May I be resourced. May I be resourced by the air that I breathe in. May I be resourced by the nourishing foods I choose to eat. May I be resourced by the water that I drink. May I be resourced by the loved ones in my life. May I be resourced from my partner, my husband or wife. May I be resourced from my parents, my grandparents, my lineage. Whether they are here or in spirit, may I receive and be resourced by their love. May I be willing to notice the love around me that I am resourced by. May I be resourced by deep connection with loved ones and friends and colleagues and other circles that I travel in. May I allow myself to receive, to be resourced by these loving, supportive relationships. May I be resourced through friendships, meaningful, authentic, easeful, and joyful. May I step into more relationships that are easeful, joyful, authentic, truthful, and in alignment with my values. May I be resourced by my children. May I be resourced by the children of others that I may come in contact with, and allow myself to be in their energy of presence and joy. May I allow myself to be resourced by the curiosity of children. May I be resourced by my pets, their unconditional love, their playfulness, their devotion, their loyalty. May I be resourced by God, God's love, divine love, source, unconditional love. May I be resourced by all forms of love that exist on the planet, from all people who share and live in unconditional love. May I be resourced emotionally through support, intention, freedom, nurturing space. May I be resourced mentally through a positive mindset, affirmations, awareness, daily devotion, perhaps meditation or journaling. May I be resourced physically through nourishing foods and movement. May I be resourced spiritually through connection to divine love and God and source energy. May I be resourced financially as an exchange of energy for how I choose to share my work and service in the world. May the fruits of my efforts be received in all relationships, physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, and financial. May I be resourced by my colleagues at work, supported, validated, called upon. May I be resourced by the people in my community. May I be resourced by other women, ready to share my work, to share me, to connect me to others, to uplift, to love, without judgment, without jealousy. May I be resourced by other men, authentically, truly, seen in the truth of who I am. May I be resourced by all beings who are resourceful and resourced. May I be resourced in an exchange, a mutual exchange of energy by others. May I be resourced with clarity in decision making to create momentum. May I be resourced with confidence in decision making to create momentum. May I be resourced in trust, which creates prosperity and opportunity and allows me to let go of fear and doubt. May I be resourced in health, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and financially. May I be resourced in wealth. May I be resourced in creativity. May I be resourced in opportunity. May I be resourced in love. May I be resourced energetically on all levels and dimensions and time frames. May I be resourced to grow, create, share, and prosper. May I be resourced by Mother Earth, by her beauty, her strength, her wisdom, the cool breeze, the warm sun, the salt air, the falling leaves, the fresh snow, the wind on the water. May I fully receive the resourcefulness of the earth May I be resourceful when opportunity presents itself. May I be resourced with the courage, knowledge, and willingness to be resourceful when there's an opportunity available to me. May I step into the energy of being resourced so that I no longer fear scarcity or lack or doubt, but I trust and I move forward. May I be resourced and supported to take aligned action through sacred yes, aligned yes, and sacred no. May I be resourced enough to never hear myself say the words that I'm too busy, I don't have time, I don't have money, I don't have support. May I be resourced so that those words are no longer a part of my vocabulary. May I be open to receiving, to continue being resourced. May I welcome in mutually supportive, resourceful relationships in my life. May I be so resourced and clear that there is no falter off the path of what I'm not available for. May I be so resourced that I trust every moment of every day. May I be resourced that when I feel doubt or scarcity or lack, I become resourceful so that I may choose the tools to be resourced, so that I may open to receiving ways of being resourced, so that I may welcome a relationship or connection to resource me. I am resourceful. I find ways in which everything is available to me. I step into a spaciousness where everything is possible. And I allow myself to trust that when I trust, the resources are available. Everything I'm seeking is seeking me. May I be resourced by all that I am seeking and is seeking me. And as I am resourced, may I grow, create, and share and prosper to then give back to the collective energy, to resource the collective, so that I may then open to receiving more resourcefulness at that next expansion. Wishing you many blessings for 2023. Wishing you peace and joy and prosperity. And may you be resourced by the infinite love of God, by the beauty of the earth that we live in, by your loving relationships, by your soul, by your truth, just by the very truth that you are here now. And may you be resourced with each next breath. Thank you for joining. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you again next week. Aloha.
The content of this podcast is to educate, inspire, and inform you of pathways to an embodied healing self. It is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice from your medical doctor, therapist, registered dietitian, or nutritionist for any questions you may have regarding your diagnosis or condition. Hello, friends, and thank you so much for joining again each week on the Body and Soul Wisdom Podcast, formerly the Embodied Healing Self Podcast. I am so deeply honored to share this space with you every week. I know that there are many other podcasts that you could be tuning into, and our community is expanding and growing more with each new episode. I'd like to invite you to come on over to jenmons.com/tribe and receive some of the wonderful gifts that we have for you. A meditation bundle, energetic alignment, 5-element wealth, prosperity consciousness. We have a ton of different gifts available for you to enjoy. Now, we have one small favor to ask. In order for this podcast to get into the hearts and souls of like and light-minded people, we need your support. We would love your review and would love it if you'd head on over to jenmons.com/podcast to leave a review or leave one on iTunes so that we can continue to share the love beyond out into the world. Thank you so much again for joining in. We'll see you next week.